people shoot for fun. AK-47 beat and 3-stripe AK-15.
I know it's been a while, but we're back with another one. Today is going to be an anti-gun snob rant. If you guys aren't familiar with what a gun snob is, it's essentially someone who thinks you're going to die in the streets unless you have a Gucci rifle, $2,000 to $3,000 rifle, or like a gun that has just a bunch of accessories on it that are just astronomically priced for no reason at all. So if that sounds like something you guys might go on to enjoy, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this, and let's get into the video. So essentially what we're going to be talking about, guys, is going to be a response to another video I seen from another GunTuber. His name goes by Trench Grenade, if you guys aren't familiar with him. He did this video a while ago. I don't know how old it is, but it came across my recommended. And it's essentially talking about why good enough isn't good enough, or something like that, or just as good, that word that people like to use. And I understand that saying and what he's talking about when he's talking about people talking about certain weapons that aren't exactly reliable, right? But he's speaking of things like Aero Precision and BCM builds and things like that, like talking down on anything else that's not in the Army. Like he was basically recommending that you only need Colt or FN parts. And I just completely know that to be not true. So basically he just is trying to tote a bunch of this Army gear, boasting all the military Army gear. And it doesn't really make sense to me because there's a lot of gear on the civilian side that's actually better than some of the small arms weaponry that you could get in the Army, or like any branch of the military. Like there's a lot of civilian weapon builds that you could build that are better. They may not be fully automatic, whatever the case might be, but when it comes to AR rifle builds, you could easily build a better build on the civilian side. But basically what Trench Grenade was talking about in his videos, he was getting on Aero Precision and other companies talking about how they're not reliable, and if you get an Aero Precision lower, you're not going to have a rifle that you could depend on that's duty grade or you should use for home defense. He used a talking point where he watches tens of thousands of rounds be fired a month, whatever, due to his military training and the people he trains. I understand that part, and I'm not saying that he's lying about that, but that doesn't really have any factor when it comes to the civilian side of rifle builds, because most likely he's watching people shoot Colt or FN builds from government issued M4s, and whatever goes wrong with them is what's going wrong with those because they've been issued to different soldiers, right? That's a whole different case and scenario. What he's talking about is civilian rifle builds for prepared citizens, why we should spend more money and we can't get a $1,000 or $700 rifle that's going to defend life and liberty. And that's completely wrong. It's just useless information. It's not valuable advice for the prepared citizen. It's not going to help you become more geared into being a prepared citizen by listening to advice like that. So if you guys are listening to any of these GunTubers or 2A influencers tell you that you need to spend $1,500 to $2,000 on a rifle minimum, just don't listen to them and make sure you do some more research on your own. I don't even believe you need to spend $1,000 on a rifle, but when it comes all said and done, for a good rifle build, $1,000 to $1,200 is not bad. But you could get a decent rifle build for $700 out the door that is still going to defend life and liberty exactly how you need. You could count your life on it, okay? So, yeah, it's just a quick video I wanted to put out here. I was seeing videos like this, and I've been seeing stuff like this on YouTube since forever. All these Gucci gun 2A influencers, GunTubers who only want to talk about the most tier 1 equipment, tier 1 gear. That's why I put in the thumbnail. But my nods, like there's a bunch of dudes who are like, they feel like they can't do without all this equipment. And if you've seen in the thumbnail, I just have a stock AK-47 setup in there. If you guys go look at the thumbnail, it's just a stock AK. It's a ZPAP M70 to be exact. All right, guys, just for reference, this is the rifle that I actually had in that thumbnail. This is my AK, the ZPAP M70 build. This thing is just, as you can see, it's just a stock AK configuration. But this rifle with iron sights, how it's built currently, will get minute of man hits out to 200 consistently if you do your part behind the rifle, okay? Basically, what I'm getting at is you don't need a Gucci tier rifle with all these attachments, a bunch of configurations that make it a $3,000 rifle just to say, oh, it's gonna do the job. It's battle tested. It's battle ready. It's good to go. It's a duty gun. It's not necessary. Like you don't need to do all this. Okay, get a rifle that's reliable. This AK is very reliable. It has over 1,000 rounds through it. No malfunctions. Right? Get an AK that's reliable, or get a weapon that's reliable. Some type of rifle. Run it through its paces and make sure you guys are good with it. You could use irons, or you could get a red dot or an optic, scope, whatever you want to call it. Just make sure you guys are good with your rifle, and that's all that matters. Me, I would trust this if I need to fight from 0 to 200 yards to get another weapon. Would I want a better weapon with better magnification and a better optic on it than this? Of course, definitely. My preferred choice would be an AR. In fact, I'm going to show you guys my preferred battle rifle and what I could do with that and how much it costed out the door. This right here is my preferred rifle. This is my go-to rifle. It's a cheap PSA Anderson build. It's a poverty pony. That's what they like to call it. But this is my go-to. It has a white light, a LPVO, and a backup red dot. It's just a basic little poverty pony, but it gets the job done. With this rifle, I could trust myself to hit accurate hits out to 400 yards all day on a man-sized target. Now, if it gets smaller, then I would want to close in on the target, to be honest, with this exact build, but it all depends on your skill set and how good you are with your rifle. This rifle has thousands of rounds through it, easily 5,000 rounds through it. Less malfunctions than I could count on one hand, okay? So if that doesn't say something to you, then it should, okay? This rifle was bought from PSA for $600 out the door. Now with this current build, how it's set up, it runs about $1,200 to $1,500 with how much money I've put into it, but still, PSA out the door, $650 to $700, maybe like $600. I don't remember. I bought it in 2019, but it was very cheap, very affordable, very working man's rifle, and it gets the job done. I could get hits out to 300 and 400 all day, no problem with this build, and 0 malfunctions. Like as much as I could count on one hand, up to 5,000 rounds though, guys. So that's like maybe one malfunction every 1,000 rounds, if here and there, 1,000 rounds or 2,000 rounds in one malfunction. You get what I'm saying? When it's all said and done, that rifle build is not very expensive. It's only expensive because of it's an import and the laws in America and how AKs cost nowadays, right? But when it comes to ARs, you could definitely build an affordable AR. Essentially, the point of this video, guys, is just to tell you, you don't need to break the bank. You don't need to spend $1,000 even, or that much money to get an affordable, proper working rifle that's reliable and ready for home defense to defend life and liberty, okay? You're not in the Army, you're not a special operator, and even the people in the Army don't have the best equipment. Mil-spec equipment doesn't mean anything. Essentially what Trench Grenade was saying in his video is get Colt or FN because it's military grade, that's what they use, it's mil-spec. That's complete bullshit. It's a fallacy to believe anything like that, because if you have any experience in actual firearms equipment, you know there's lots of different brands and lots of different companies that have their own QC outside of military standards that exceed military standards, okay? That's why I said in the beginning, earlier in this video, you could get firearms and certain small arms equipment, specifically when it comes to AR builds on the civilian sector, for an affordable price that are much higher, that exceed military specs. So I don't know, it's just something I had on my mind, a video I watched, and I was like, I just can't believe. I was seeing people in the comment section really agreeing with him, and like his main talking point was Aero Precision is not a good brand. Now don't get me wrong, I've seen certain things be lacking in the QC, the quality control with Aero Precision, but when it comes to Aero Precision as a whole, as a company, they have good customer service and they have great lowers. I wouldn't personally buy an Aero Precision upper because I don't like the aesthetic of them, and there's better uppers you could get for a similar price. But if you get an Aero Precision and you pair it with like a BCM or a quality rail and a ballistic advantage barrel, like something high quality, if you piece your rifle together properly, there really should be nothing you have to worry about. And good quality parts don't mean Gucci tier, battle tested parts that some guy in the Army thinks is gonna be the only thing that's gonna work for you. So I don't know, guys. You don't need a downhill defense. You don't even need a BCM. You guys can get a PSA or arrow, and your rifle will be dependable, will be reliable. Just make sure you test it. Make sure you're putting rounds through it. Trench Grenade tried to claim on his video that he bets that nobody could get an AR-15 that's from PSA, and it's going to last them from 3,000 to 5,000 rounds without having a malfunction or breaking down and not working by then. He claimed that the rifle's going to break down and not work by 5,000 rounds. Look, I guarantee you, out of 5 to 10 rifles you buy from PSA, 8 to 9 of them are most likely going to work past 5,000 rounds. You may notice degradation and certain wearing down in parts, but you're not going to lose reliability. You're just going to start breaking the rifle in, and that's just going to make it more reliable. The point where you'll start to see that is going to be around the 10,000 round mark. That's where it'll start to really break down. You'll start to lose accuracy in your barrel, and you'll start to notice real wear and tear. But whatever Trench Grenade was talking about in his video, a lot of his talking points are valid. I don't just want to completely shit on Trench, but in that video he was talking about getting on Aero Precision and saying that they're not good lowers specifically. It just made no sense completely to me. A lower is a lower. As long as your lower is in spec, your lower is going to work properly. I have seen people who made lowers on a CNC machine that was completely chewed to shit and it still shot and worked properly. Was it the most smooth shooting and prettiest rifle to look at? No, but it always worked reliable and it always shot properly. So that's what I'm getting at here. You guys don't need the perfect thing, but always make sure you're getting gear that's in spec, okay? As long as you get a lower that's in spec and you got a rifle that's made with a good barrel, a good bolt carrier group, and you got a good optic or just a decent red dot, you're good to go. That's all you guys need. But that's basically what I got for today. Let me know what you guys think of this sort of video, this kind of format, gun rants about GunTubers and the 2A community, stuff like that. I'll have more videos like this coming out later on today or later this week, and I'll be posting some shorts content involving prepping, so make sure you guys subscribe for more of that. And yeah, hope you went on to enjoy it, and this is FP out.